They are measured acts that blur the lines of platonic interaction and venture into emotionally charged territory. Research in social psychology confirms that mimicry is a strong indicator of liking and rapport. When someone mirrors your gestures, speech patterns, or body movements, it creates a feeling of intimacy and connection, even if that intimacy is never verbalized. For a married woman, these physical cues often emerge when she's navigating the cognitive dissonance of being committed yet emotionally attracted to someone else. The third sign emerges in the realm of emotional vulnerability. Attraction isn't just physical, it's emotional, intellectual, and sometimes even spiritual. A woman who is attracted to another man may start opening up to him more than she does with others. She might share details about her life, her struggles, her dreams, especially those things she doesn't typically talk about with her partner. This emotional disclosure creates a psychological bond that is often more powerful than physical closeness. She may seek his validation, his opinion, or his presence in ways that go beyond friendship. If she's confiding in him about personal matters, especially about her marriage or emotional dissatisfaction, it could be a window into deeper attraction. In psychology, this is known as emotional triangulation, or where emotional energy gets redirected from a primary partner to someone else, often unintentionally. The brain begins to associate this new person with comfort, excitement, or escape, fueling the attraction even further. What started as innocent conversation evolves into a connection that feels magnetic and emotionally charged. The fourth sign, perhaps the most hidden of all, is behavioral inconsistency. Attraction causes internal conflict in a married woman, and this conflict manifests in her behavior. She might oscillate between being overly friendly one day and distant the next. She might initiate interactions and then suddenly pull back. These hot and cold dynamics aren't just confusing, they're psychological defense mechanisms. She is both drawn to and fearful of the implications of her feelings. She's trying to balance her attraction with her responsibilities, her fantasies with her reality. This inconsistency is often a red flag that something deeper is stirring beneath the surface. In many cases, women will also test boundaries to see how the other person reacts. They might joke flirtatiously to gauge interest, or ask hypothetical questions about relationships and attraction. These aren't random. They're subtle probes designed to explore possibilities without directly expressing interest. It's a delicate dance between curiosity and caution, desire and decorum. When these patterns emerge, it's rarely just about friendship. All of this is supported by deep-rooted psychological principles. According to evolutionary psychology, attraction is a multifaceted phenomenon influenced by physical cues, emotional compatibility, and the potential for safety or excitement. In a marriage where emotional needs aren't being fully met, whether due to routine, neglect, or growing emotional distance, a woman may find herself subconsciously seeking that fulfillment elsewhere. The new person becomes a mirror, reflecting back her vitality, her confidence, her unmet desires. It's not always about leaving the relationship. Sometimes it's about rediscovering a part of herself she thought was gone. That's why the attraction can feel so intense. It taps into her identity, her longing, her suppressed emotions. Modern psychology also talks about the concept of limerence, which is an intense emotional state of infatuation, where one becomes obsessed with the idea of being with another person. This state can override rational thinking and magnify every interaction, every touch, every shared laugh. For a married woman experiencing limerence, the person she's drawn to can feel like a savior, a fantasy, a source of emotional renewal. The danger lies in the illusion. It may not be real love, but a projection of unmet emotional needs. Now, it's important to note that not all signs of friendliness or emotional openness indicate attraction. Context matters. Personality, upbringing, culture, and current life situations all play roles in how someone behaves. Some women are naturally more expressive, more engaging, and more physically affectionate, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're attracted. But when these behaviors cross a certain threshold, when they are paired with prolonged eye contact, emotional intimacy, behavioral shifts and subtle testing of boundaries, that's when they signal something deeper. What makes these signs powerful is not just their presence, but their pattern. It's the consistency of subtle cues over time that reveals the underlying attraction. One isolated sign may mean nothing, but several appearing together form a psychological mosaic that speaks volumes. Another layer to this is how attraction affects her conversations. A married woman who is secretly attracted might often steer the conversation to topics that keep the other person engaged, discussions about love, personal values, future aspirations, or even flirtatious banter disguised as humor. She wants to know what makes him tick, how he views relationships, whether he's emotionally available. These aren't just small talk, they're emotional feelers. She might also share more than necessary about her own relationship, perhaps voicing her dissatisfaction or subtly implying that something is missing. It's a way of expressing desire indirectly, of opening a door without walking through it. These confessions are rarely accidental, they're emotionally strategic. In many cases, they are also a way for her to test if the attraction is mutual. If the man reciprocates with emotional attention, compliments, or shared vulnerability, the bond deepens and the attraction strengthens. If he doesn't, she might retreat, feeling exposed or rejected. Interestingly, technology has added a new dimension to these signals. In today's world, digital interactions often carry as much emotional weight as face-to-face ones. A married woman who is attracted might initiate frequent texts, respond quickly, or send messages late at night when she's most emotionally vulnerable. She may like and comment on his social media posts more often than others, or send memes and content that create inside jokes, little emotional threads. Tying them together, the digital space becomes a secret garden for emotional intimacy, one that feels safer than real-life interaction but is no less potent. These patterns are especially telling if she becomes possessive over these interactions or gets upset when responses aren't immediate. It's an emotional dependency masquerading as casual conversation. In psychology, this digital closeness can be just as addictive and revealing as physical presence. So what does this all mean? It means that human relationships are intricate, full of coded messages and hidden motivations. A married woman's attraction to someone outside her relationship isn't always a sign of infidelity or malice. Often, it's a signal that something deeper is stirring within her, a need for connection, attention, validation, or emotional resonance. Her actions may be confusing even to herself. She may feel guilt, fear, excitement, and longing all at once. That's what makes these signs so powerful. They reflect real emotional conflict. Understanding these signs doesn't mean you act on them. It means you become aware. You develop emotional intelligence. You respect the boundaries while acknowledging the depth of human connection. And if you find yourself on the receiving end of such attraction, the wisest course is to be clear, grounded, and compassionate. Attraction can be a mirror. It shows us what we crave, what we're missing, and sometimes what we need to heal. Psychology doesn't just help us decode others. It helps us understand ourselves. When we talk about human attraction, especially in complex social scenarios like marriage, things aren't always black and white. Beneath the surface of casual interactions, fleeting glances, and polite conversations, there can lie an entire world of unspoken desires and subtle psychological cues. Sometimes, these cues are so hidden and well guarded that only a trained eye or a highly intuitive person can detect them. And when a married woman is attracted to someone other than her spouse, it becomes even more layered and complicated. Social norms, internal guilt, emotional conflicts, and a deep need for connection all intertwine, creating a dance of signals that, when understood, can reveal powerful truths about human psychology. So today we explore the 4 secret signs a married woman may display when she is attracted to someone, signs that psychological science often uncovers beneath the surface, signs that reveal hidden desires she may not even consciously acknowledge. Let's begin by understanding a crucial point. Attraction does not always lead to action, and many women in committed relationships might experience fleeting attraction without ever intending to act on it. But when this attraction is sustained, when it starts influencing her behavior, her thoughts, and her emotions, that's when you begin to see signs, subtle but telling. The first hidden sign is the way she uses her eyes. Eye contact is one of the most powerful non-verbal tools of communication. A married woman who is secretly attracted to someone may allow her gaze to linger longer than necessary. In a conversation, she might hold eye contact a moment too long. Her pupils might dilate slightly, and there could be an intensity in her look that speaks louder than words. She may not be fully aware she's doing it. It's an unconscious response triggered by genuine interest. Psychology reveals that when someone is attracted, their attention becomes hyper-focused. They seek facial cues, emotional expressions, and even micro-reactions, almost as if scanning the other person for compatibility or response. It's primitive, rooted in our biology, and often entirely automatic. Beyond the eyes, the second secret sign lies in her body language. A married woman who is drawn to another man will often show subtle shifts in her posture, orientation, and mannerisms when around him. For instance, her feet might point toward him, even if her body is angled elsewhere, a subconscious alignment indicating where her interest truly lies. She might mirror his gestures, match his energy, or find excuses to be physically near him. Touch is another key indicator. A gentle pat on the arm, a lingering handshake, brushing past him slightly in close quarters. These aren't just accidental. At the end of the day, love and attraction aren't always under our control. But our responses are. The signs may be hidden, but once you see them, they change the way you understand the people around you. You start noticing the glances that linger, the conversations that feel a little too intimate, the inconsistencies that hint at emotional conflict. You become fluent in the language of unspoken desire, and in that awareness you hold power, the power to choose, to understand, and to navigate with wisdom. That's what makes these 4 secret signs so compelling. They don't just expose attraction, they reveal the deeper human need for connection, for meaning, and for being truly seen.